I guess we're at top 3 now, and I do quickly want to give an honorable mention. I just remembered Totally Killer. That is a hilarious goofy comedy. I totally forgot it existed, but that's also a great horror comedy. So check that out.
Thank you for making that an honorable mention, as that is one of my top 3.
God bless America.
No, then you start. Go to your third one.
Yeah, I was gonna say you take it away.
I have not watched even like Back to the Future that was filmed during the 80s, and then they obviously went back to the 50s. This Totally Killer is like the closest thing that wasn't filmed in the 80s that represents the 80s. As I was watching, I'm like, holy crap, I absolutely forgot that's what life was like. Like, everybody is smoking. Everybody. Freaking hilarious. Cop, like, literally smoking in their faces. She gets a ride from a random mom, stranger, and just goes. And it's like, yeah, that's how it used to be. You just were like trusting and being like, well, sure, I'll go. She talks her way into enrolling in high school. And now you'd be like, you can barely get into a high school without an ID or anything, going to the front office. They're like, yeah, just go to class. I'm from Canada, a small island. I don't care. Go for it.
I like how easy she does that shit too. Like, or like how blown away she is by everything that she gets away with, or like the way people speak to each other.
Yeah, and there's just little random things. Like the one person has like, what are they, like, not magic stones, but they're like psychic stones. You're like, yeah, that was a thing. Of course it was. It's just like, it really literally took me back to the 80s when I was a kid. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I forgot life was really like that, because we got to this point where it's not. And it was a great little time machine, so to speak. But the story was also really good, which surprised me, because a lot of movies use that trope. And I thought I think it was on Amazon Prime, when they were promoting it, I'm like, oh great, another one that's just going to use the 80s for whatever. And I'm like, nope, this was really good. So Totally Killer's in my top 3.
And let's not forget the best joke in that movie. I have edibles that are 10 times stronger than this.
She goes, in the future, you're going to get a gummy bear this big that has 10 times the amount of that weed.
No comment, but it's accurate.
Oh man, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And you know what I like too is like the horror storyline is a good storyline. Like, in addition to just being hilarious, like they get pretty brutal and graphic with you know, the whole storyline. I like the name changes too. When she comes back to like
that twist time was hilarious. Yeah, I enjoy that movie a lot. So if you haven't seen it, go check out Totally Killer. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
It's funny you say about the example of toxic masculinity, is how appalled she is by the way everyone talks to each other and about other people. And she's like, you cannot say that. And the guy's like, I can say whatever I want.
Yeah,
geek. Like, yeah, I don't know.
And that's one of the comments we had with the Monster Squad. It's like, that holds up except for some of the language that's used in the 80s. I mean, you don't say those things anymore. And Totally Killer highlighted some of those.